everyone, in this video I'll be unboxing the RVolution PlayerPro 8K. I won't be doing a full setup like I did with the PlayerOne 8K because a lot of it's the same. So if you're interested in how that works, I will be throwing a link up here as well as in a pinned comment down below and the description, so you can go check that out. Now what I will be doing is I will be logging in with my RVideo account, or RVolution account, I guess. I will also be using the hard drive that I have in the PlayerOne 8K, putting it in here and setting that up. So I'm curious to see how that works. Along with that, I will also be installing an additional 8 terabyte drive for a total of 16 terabytes of storage. That should be really awesome. Now, I do want to thank RVolution for sending this out to me. This is not a sponsored video. They did provide this player to me for free to review. They're not paying me anything. They don't get to see this video before you guys do. This is going live, and they're going to see it like everybody else. So I want to go ahead and dive into the unboxing, but thank you RVolution for making this possible. I really appreciate it. Now, one of the main differences that you might know right off the bat is the PlayerPro 8K has a dual hard drive bay versus the single hard drive bay in the PlayerOne 8K. Now that's going to mean you can have 2 hard drives in there at one time, up to 32 terabytes each for a total of 64 terabytes of storage. I'm really curious to see how that all works out. I'm gonna have to move around a little bit. Nice double box here, which I believe the first one that I unboxed, the PlayerOne 8K, is very similar. Come on, always running out of room in here. All right, so that is upside down now, so we'll flip that over. So this came from France, and I'm hoping that this is okay. It does feel really well packed, but there's a giant gash in there, and I don't like that. Now, a couple of the other key differences is the power supply. Now, this has a more beefy power supply, which should provide some benefits, which I'll talk about in the actual review. The other difference is the TXCO clock, which should help slightly with timing. I don't know if you'd be able to tell the difference. I probably won't be able to, but I did want to mention it. What I really like right off the bat, in my PlayerOne 8K video, I noted that on the bottom of the unit, there is a serial number or a token that you have to basically take a picture of because you'll need it during setup. This is provided to you right here with this player on a card now. So you don't have to flip it upside down, because I guarantee you what happened is RVolution got complaints from people saying, I got to the setup part and yeah, I have to unhook everything and look at the bottom of the player. I wouldn't like to do that. Some people might have this in a rack, and that might be even more difficult for them to kind of take things out. So I love that they've included that. All right, so we get a little goodie box here. This should have the remote. Oh, hey, remote control installation, a little card here. We do get some Wi-Fi antennas. So this does have Wi-Fi. I will be using the LAN, but I will be testing the Wi-Fi for the full review. But you get 3 antennas. So you also get, which I also love, I think the PlayerOne 8K did this as well, multiple power plugs for different countries and different regions. So like right here, I'm in the US, so I'll be using that one. This is a 3-prong plug, in case you're wondering, and it has a 3-prong adapter. Hopefully you can see that over on the overhead camera there. But you have basically a 3 additional power cables for Europe and places like that. Now we also get, what is this here? Oh, a little IR repeater. So in case you put this in a rack or somewhere else in the room, you have that. We also have things for mounting this in a rack. So that's really cool. We get some screws to go along with that. And we also get an HDMI 2.1 cable certified. So you got your little dealio there that you can do the little QR code, make sure it's all legit. Things are getting moved all over the place. And we do get the remote. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the remote out of here so we can take a look at this. This does look quite a bit different than the standard RVolution remote. We have the 2 differences between the remotes. Now, this is the old remote and this is the new remote. I don't have the batteries in this one yet, but I like that it's a more kind of streamlined remote. I do have a slight issue with the old PlayerOne 8K remote in that if you have some other remotes that you put this with, this can get scratched, and it is backlit, and I don't know that you could see it, but parts of it have started to come off because it will either hit other remotes, rub against them. I might put other remotes on top of it, and the stuff is just rubbing off on here, and I don't really like that, especially for the price. I'm curious to see if this has the same issue. We're gonna go ahead and flip this up again. A lot of flipping today. Let's don't get flipped off. That would be not good. All right, really well packed, really like that. I'm gonna have to vacuum in here. This player's upside down now, which is fine. It's fine. All of this stuff is fine. Here we go. Over here, and then we'll... All right, so I think this is, yep, the rear of the unit here. So I'm gonna take a look here on the ground, but I'm gonna cut to some B-roll here momentarily, kind of show you the specs and everything. So on the front, we have, I mean, really nothing, nothing too crazy. This is a very similar design to the PlayerOne 8K, but it is a bit taller, and it does have the dual bays in here. So you don't need any tools for this. They are hot swappable, which is great. I've got a full screen here, USB 3.0 port on the front, power button right there, and then let's flip it around. We'll take a look at the rear. We have the power on off, the power plug, Ethernet, IR repeater in. Something I also mentioned on the PlayerOne 8K is we have text down here and text on top that's upside down. So however you're looking at the unit, even if it's from, you know, the top down, if you're trying to hook something up, you can see where everything is. I think that's always a nice touch. We do have an HDMI output. This is HDMI 2.1. We even see the TXCO clock mentioned on the bottom here. Optical output, coaxial. We have left and right analog outputs, as well as a low noise audio output. That's interesting. I'll have to look at that. And then we have two USB 3.0. So a total of 3 USB 3.0 inputs for transferring from your hard drive or just keeping it plugged up. And then on the top, we have the 3 Wi-Fi antennas. So, I mean, that's pretty much unboxed. Now we just need to get this thing set up over here. We'll get it connected and everything updated. And I'll kind of walk you through that process. And some of the newer things in the menu too, I do want to talk about. So I'll go over that as well. Alrighty, so everything is set up. I have the TV on, the receiver on. I'm gonna boot this up for the first time, but first I gotta take the batteries out, I guess. That would probably be very helpful. Yeah, we're gonna run through this. We're gonna format the hard drive because I didn't really walk through that last time. I don't believe. I was having issues figuring it out. I do have my laptop here in case I need to Google something really quick. Again, I'm not gonna do a full like setup because you can watch that in my RVolution PlayerOne 8K video, but this will just kind of give you an overview of some of the newer features. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the power button. Should turn right on. Basically, I'm waiting now for a little TV signal here. Hopefully it'll pop up. We might be on the wrong input. Now that I think about it, we are. That would be helpful. I really thought this through, guys. So now we are booting up here. This is excellent. What does it say if I press OK? And V+. So we got our RVolution remote pairing here, connecting. All right, so we can proceed with the setup here. Automatic setup, that's fine. Well, I guess there is not a firmware update. Let's double check though. And this will give us a good chance to go through here. I do like to set some things up here real quick. We are in the New York time zone, so that's perfect. I like this remote. This remote seems to be much better in the hand. I know that sounds weird. So we're gonna be video mode, auto. Now I do not have this connected directly to the television. My understanding is if you do get 4K 120 and you can use some of the advanced features. That's great. Auto frame rate is good. Auto resolution enabled. Actually, no, we'll just disable that. I want everything 4K. Picture quality. This is some of the newer stuff that I was talking about. This was not in the PlayerOne 8K at launch, or not launch, when I got it. They added this stuff later. I was going to do a video about this, but we're here now. One of my biggest gripes right off the bat with the PlayerOne 8K when I first got it was when you upscaled things from 1080p to 4K, it had sharpening that you couldn't remove. Well, they actually went through and made it so you could remove that. So that is excellent. We have new AI picture quality and AI super resolution options. I do use the super resolution quite often when I'm watching 1080p sources. It does a great job of upscaling from 1080p to 4K. I do not, however, use the AI picture quality. I find that it does alter the picture too much for my taste. There's been a couple times where we're watching a movie and I'm like, this looks kind of strange. It was like super, I don't want to say super saturated, but it was saturated enough where I was like, I really don't like this. So we go into the HDR settings here. I think I have the other one set to LLDV, which is player led. Not that it really makes any difference. I just chose that. We can go through here, adjust all of these. Here, I do tend to use the VS10 for all of this stuff here because it's just better in terms of gradients and things like that. I've found doing comparisons between just straight HDR10 and then using the Dolby VS10 mode. And it's not a mode because it's still HDR10, but the way it's processing, it's the VS10 processing. That's the word I was looking for. So I use that. That's really good. We'll go through additional settings. This is all good stuff here. And then we want to turn this off. I don't like having this on at all, the CEC. We don't want any ARC functionality or anything like that. So audio, digital output mode, I always bitstream, need some sample rate, just be audio, no. Okay, that's all good. Network, this is always a good thing here. We'll just kind of quickly glance at that. Let's check firmware upgrades, see if we got anything. Check for available updates. No new firmware available. Okay, cool. We do need to do something really quick. We need to format the hard drive. If we go into our file browser, we should have our hard drive right here, the RVolution HDD. Now this has all of my movies from my PlayerOne 8K, so that's excellent. We do not have access to this. So how do we format? I hear it spinning up. Everything turns off there. Okay, so we have that. We don't want to open that. Awesome, look at this. So we have two 8 terabyte drives here. So if we hit info, we can see this one I've used 86% of, and this is RVolution HDD. And then if we go to the next one here, and we'll hit info, this one's empty. I have nothing used. So now I've just doubled the storage. That's really awesome. So let's dive into our video. I already have an account, so I should be able to log in with that. Yes, I want to choose that language. Okay, by registering online, connect your play to the internet, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do that here. Breeze through this so you don't see it. All right, there we go. We are in. So I'm going to input my token here, which is this guy right here. Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in really quick. I'm going to update to the latest version of our video. Now, something that does happen here is it does kick you out to this main menu here, and you just have to go back in to get it to update. I've had it happen before. I really hope it doesn't have me log back in. That's my password's too long. Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna use that. And it's going to open up my collection. Now I have a collection, the last time I synced it was like yesterday. It might be looking at everything, so we'll see. It would be great if it just populated everything right from the get-go. So what we're gonna see here, this is a brand new player, but I do have our video. I've used it for the past 8 months. All of my stuff is in there, and wow, holy crap. So we have all of our stuff in here, it looks like. So if I go to play something, will it work? I know I've played this. Wow, it was that simple. Yeah. That is really awesome. So basically I have everything set up now. I didn't really have to do anything. The hard drive's formatted, so if we hit the home button to go back, we have our hard drives in here, both of them, so I can now move things over to either one of these hard drives. I might start putting all of my UHD movies on hard drive 2. I will have to go in and add another library in there, but that is pretty easy in our video. It's just adding basically another folder. Really simple to do. Yeah, we can just go into folders management. Here we go. So we have everything here. So now if I just wanted to put stuff on the hard drive 2, the HDD 2, I could label it UHD movies, link it right to here, and bam, I'm good to go. Now, funnily enough, I didn't know this at the time, but RVolution actually has a whitelist of recommended hard drives. I have 2 hard drives in here that are the same. They're 8 terabyte, they're the Compute drives, the Barracuda, the green ones, and those are not recommended for whatever reason. And what I'll say to that is I've been using the single 8 terabyte for 8-9 months now, and not a single issue. With all that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll also be doing a full review of the PlayerPro 8K, as well as setting up the PlayerOne 8K in my living room. I will be basically connecting it to my network, accessing this from here, and I'm kind of curious about that. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I was told that you don't need a NAS or anything by RVolution. The only thing is you have to have the player on. So I'm really curious to see how that setup process goes, and I'll be recording that and bringing you guys along for that as well. But thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do so if you like my content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.